Do you ever have days in your homeschool where you wish you could just say, Alexa, homeschool the kids, and it would happen? Today I'm going to share with you our favorite educational shows that we use in our homeschool when we're having days just like that. Hi, thanks for joining me today. If you're new here, I'm Erin. I'm a homeschooling mom of 4 kids, and I love to share on this channel just things that I've learned along our 7-year journey of homeschooling. Now, today is all about the things that we can do when we're having a day where we are just like done. I'm sure you've been there too, and you just wish you could put something on, put the kids in front of it, and let that do the teaching. Not to say that we should always be putting our kids in front of the TV, but there are times when you need a little break or something else in order to entertain and educate your children for just a little while. So these shows are gonna help you to be able to do that. Shows are sometimes some of the most underutilized things that we have available to us as homeschoolers. And we don't have to feel bad in thinking that just because our kids are watching TV, it means that we are slacking on their education, because that is truly not the case. There's so many things that are learned in a way that is engaging and exciting for the kids, where they can see things actually play out, and those experiences add so much to what they're learning and what they actually retain. So I'm going to break down these shows into preschool plus, lower elementary plus, and upper elementary plus shows, so that you can kind of find ones that will fit for your particular family. And if you just want to skip ahead, check out the timestamps below where you can jump ahead to the group that you might be most interested in. So for preschool and even through elementary school, the first show that I would like to recommend is Wild Kratts. It's a fantastic show that's on PBS Kids. It's a cartoon and it's really fun, where the Kratts brothers go on these missions to learn about the animals and figure out what their creature powers are. And so the kids are learning a lot about animals in this show. And it's amazing that the facts and information that they plug in there, where the kids are enjoying it, so they don't even feel like they're learning, but they actually are. The next show is The Magic School Bus and The Magic School Bus Rides Again. And both of these shows are available on Netflix, and they're rated TV-Y. Magic School Bus is one of the ones that I remember from when I was a kid, watching the original ones and reading the books. I loved them. And so this is a fun way to kind of get a little nostalgic, but also open our kids up to the experience of the Magic School Bus and Miss Frizzle and the adventures they go, where they shrink down and go inside the human body, or they go back in time to the time of the dinosaurs, or they go underwater and learn about the underwater sea creatures. It's an amazing science type show where they're learning things all about the world around them. Another amazing nature show is the Disney nature documentaries that are available on Disney Plus. Now, these ones are ones that are a little bit more feature-length film style, so you might, especially if you have younger kids, you might need to break it up into little chunks, but this is one that we have put on sometimes while we're eating lunch, and we watch it in a couple different segments, so that the kids are learning something while they're eating, and but they're learning about things like, they have a whole one about chimpanzees, there's one about penguins. They're basically nature animal shows where they go and they get to see the animals in their environment and learn all about their life cycle and just all kinds of stuff about these animals. So that one is also really well made, and it's really fun to watch. Okay, so moving on to our lower elementary plus age group. All of these, honestly, like even our 4-year-old has watched all of these shows with us and she's been fine. But they're really more, I'm just saying that they're elementary plus because they're more directed towards the older kids or an older audience. So your younger kids, while the content is still appropriate for younger kids, it might not hold their attention as well as it would older ones. And the first one that is one of my kids' favorite right now. This is actually on YouTube as well, and this one is called Science Max. Now, this one is super fun. It's more of a physical science, chemistry, physics kind of show where this guy does these experiments kind of on a small scale, and then he's like, let's max it out, and he makes it huge on this big scale. So it's really fun to see what they learn through the different experiments that they're doing, and the host of the show is really energetic and engaging and totally keeps your attention, and the kids really have fun with that show. Another one that's a little bit like that is called DIY Sci, that's on Prime Video, and that one is really fun too. He also does a lot of different just science experiments about physics and chemistry and all those same kinds of things. It's just a little bit different of a format, but that one is also really good. If your kids love science, they will love it. Or even if your kids don't love science, one of these two might be a great way to introduce them to it in a fun way that makes them want to learn more. Another series that we have really enjoyed that's on Prime Video is Torchlighters, which is a Christian-based TV show that is based around the heroes of the faith. So these are all missionaries or strong Christian figures that have lived throughout history, and it's a cartoon that's kind of drawn in the old school cartoon style, so it looks older, but the content is really powerful because they're learning about the faith of these people that went out into the world and did these incredible things for the Lord, and how he used them and God's hand in the midst of these extreme experiences that they were facing. And so that's a great faith building show if that's something that you're interested in. Another show that is super fun that is definitely elementary but all the way up to adults. My husband and I love to watch this show with the kids too, and that is Brain Games. And Brain Games is on both Netflix and Disney Plus. I think Disney Plus has a few more seasons of it than Netflix did the last time I checked. And this one is super fun. Like, it starts from the very first episode. You're learning all about like illusions and perception and reality and why we do what we do and how our brains work and why people behave the way that they behave. It's really kind of fascinating to learn about it. And they have all of these different activities and things that they do on the screen where they'll put stuff up and have you count certain numbers of things or try to notice certain things. It's kind of like those quiz type of things that everybody loves to do, and then they'll give you the answer to see if you got it right. So this one is a really like interactive, really fun show to watch. That next one that we liked is called Our Planet, and this is a series that is on Netflix, and it is kind of like Planet Earth, which is also amazing, but that one I think you have to buy. I don't think there's a free option for that right now. It goes all around the world, and it'll have a whole episode about the oceans and what's going on in the oceans and ocean life and all those things, and then it'll have one about the grasslands and what types of animals live in the grasslands, and it follows them around, and you learn so much about just the world around us. It's really good, and it's amazingly shot. It's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, so I highly recommend that one as well. Okay, so now getting into upper elementary plus, these ones I categorize more towards the little bit older kids, but again, my youngest child has watched all of these with us and been fine. Some of the stuff might be a little bit more intense, maybe, so to speak. So if you have sensitive younger children, it might be ones to at least preview before you show your kids. The first one that we have all really enjoyed is the Who Was show on Netflix. And this one is more of a history type show where they'll have the characters in the show will kind of act out and tell the story of two famous historical people that have lived, like Joan of Arc or Gandhi or let's see, who else have they done? Genghis Khan and different people throughout history where you kind of learn about this character, but they're acting it out. It's definitely a more humorous show, and some of the humor might be a little bit crude every once in a while, but it's rated TV PG, so it's not like it's totally inappropriate, but just something to be aware of if you're very sensitive to that kind of stuff. Another one that we absolutely loved when we watched this actually a couple of years ago, but all the way up to adults. And this one is called Expedition Unknown. And this is hosted by Josh Gates, and it's on the Discovery Channel. It was free on Prime Video when we watched it, and who knows if it'll come available there again. This one, he goes around the world to kind of seek out information about things in history and kind of look at the archaeology and what does the archaeology tell us about this particular person or these events that happened. They're really fun to watch. The host is really funny, and this one, if I remember, again, it's been a couple years since I've seen this one, but I think there are some places where he gets into some tight spots and it's a little bit intense, and there might be some places where he has some like swear words beeped out, like they're totally beeped out so you don't hear any of that. But again, that's something that is there and to be aware of. Another one that our boys absolutely loved is Man vs. Wild. And this one's also on Discovery. It was when we watched it on Prime Video, so check back there periodically if that's something that you're interested in checking out. This one features Bear Grylls as the host, if you don't know Bear Grylls, he's a former special ops military survival guy from Great Britain, and he goes all around the world, and he basically parachutes into these super remote places and teaches you how to survive in this environment and how to find your way back to civilization or somewhere safe so that you can live if you were to be shipwrecked or lost while you're on this hike in the Andes Mountains or whatever. He goes into all these places all over the world. So the kids, being boys, absolutely love that he's eating bugs and snakes and like all these things and teaching you how to get clean water and how to build shelters and all this kind of stuff. So it's a fun educational show that if you have boys, especially boys, will super love this, but girls would love it too. One more that we just watched in our homeschool that we really enjoyed is The Men Who Built America. And this one's on Prime Video, and it's definitely a little bit more geared toward the older kids. There are a couple of episodes where it shows some guns and some fighting and that kind of stuff. It doesn't really show like the blood because it's rated TV PG, but a few of the episodes are more, I think, 13 plus. Because of that. So that one you might want to preview before you show your kids, especially if you have younger kids. But all of our boys watched it, and they're 2nd grade, 4th grade, and 6th grade, and they all loved it. But anyway, the premise of this show is going through basically the Industrial Revolution and basically all of the major players during this time and how their industry is really like transformed America. Now, they certainly did not do things the right way a lot of times and were pretty ruthless. And this show does a good job of highlighting that and then showing how especially Carnegie kind of realized that and later on really turned into this huge philanthropic, how do you even say that word? Philanthropy. He got into philanthropy and started donating all this money and how basically it's just about how industry shaped America and changed it and brought it into the modern era. And so that one was something that we all really enjoyed, and our kids wanted to check out all these books about the Industrial Revolution at the library after this and learn more, and they were reading biographies about Carnegie and Ford and Rockefeller and stuff. So it was one that really sparked a lot of further learning for my kids. So you can see how there are a lot of shows out there that are really good as far as education for your kids. They can learn a lot, but then you can also, if you want to, take these shows and what they've learned and go deeper. You can ask questions to make sure that they comprehended what they were watching about. You could have them write reports if there's a certain topic that they learned about in a show, or you can check out more books from the library. You can really take this as much as, or as deep as you want. Feel good that you are still educating your kids, even if they are watching a TV show. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up below if you did, and make sure you subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching. Bye.